I've always found it mysterious and remarkable that some kids enter first grade with an extraordinary natural ability in math, clearly getting numbers at a very deep level. Tomer Goldberg was one. I still remember him doing complex computations in his head in first and second grade while I was encouraging him to use paper or manipulatives or even fingers. It became apparent that he was incredibly facile at manipulating and regrouping numbers to make a problem easier to solve in his head. I don't think I discovered some of the mathematical insights Tomer displayed at the age of 6 until I was well into adulthood. Tomer is a thinker, a deep one, an out-of-the-box one who likes to be pushed to think hard. He gobbles up challenges the way a toddler eats O's. For example, he was always a big fan of the problem of the day that would be on the smartboard each morning. The harder the better, long after he was a student in my class. Indeed, all the way through 7th grade. Sometimes I think he popped his head into my classroom just to see if it was a problem difficult enough to be worth his time and effort. Sometimes he was kind enough to leave his written responses with me as the answer key for me to use with my class. Perhaps not surprisingly, Tomer really took to microworlds, a computer-based environment that allows children to create and experiment using math, programming, language, and a whole lot of thinking and problem solving. Suffice it to say, Tomer was still occasionally coming into my classroom as a 7th grader, usually before school started, to work on this advanced project of his. It was a game involving animation and interactivity. He was certainly getting into areas that were beyond the limits of my knowledge. I would sometimes have to work on it on my own just so I might be able to help him. Or, even better, sometimes we'd have the chance to try to problem solve together. There is little better as a teacher than working on something demanding with a student in a truly authentic way. But alas, those times putting our minds together over a project of his were rare in recent years given the schedules of a middle school student and a second grade teacher. Still, I recall encouraging him to come in during his recess, mainly for my sake, because those times are just too wonderful, and Tomer was just so much fun to work with. The fact is, he was terrifically inventive when it came to any activities. It's as if out of the box is Tomer's normal state of mind. Needless to say, it made it a real treat being his teacher, or one of his peers, or anyone in his vicinity, not knowing what idea or angle Tomer might come up with. For example, and I'm going back to 2nd grade here, Tomer began his piece, How to Play Minecraft, thusly. First, you ask your parents. Here is how to. You say it's educational. Then they're bound to get it for you. Even at that age, a real problem solver. Or the way his contributions to class collaborative poems, where everyone responds to the same prompt, were often delightfully idiosyncratic. Here's 2 favorites. The reason I like Legos is anything can happen. Perfect, Tomer. And here's a fabulous example of taking the less traveled road. My favorite place is nowhere, because I use things instead of places to make me feel better. Tomer also is a mensch, sensitive and caring. One of my lingering images is of Tomer being a wonderful big brother to Shayna, returning her adoration with hugs whenever she sought him out. Tomer, you have it all, a big brain, boundless creativity, and a warm heart. With much pride and pleasure, I present Tomer Goldberg.
Well, here I am. I'm taking all I have known that a school could be and leaving it. Each year has left an imprint on me, but the last 2 years have been different. Last year, I started 7th grade, and it also marked the start of COVID. To be honest, I can't even remember very much about the year except for Color Wars. When I first heard about Color Wars last year, I was surprised, curious, and grateful. I was on the teal team, and I can remember being a little annoyed that I was on teal team, and because it's just light blue mixed with a dark green. In fact, every year, I had at least one complaint about the teams, except this year. This year is the year that is marked by masks. It is the one that people's mouths look funny all of a sudden, and where were all surprised by the administration and its resilience in this dumb pandemic. And this year, I was happy with the team. And, to make it better, I won. This year is probably one of my favorite years at Akiba, because I truly didn't expect it to happen at all. Not on Zoom, and definitely not in person. Of course, no graduation speech is complete without a thank you section. Thank you to all my teachers, who I will try to list. Thank you, Mrs. Cass, Mrs. Weitzman, and Mrs. Taub, for being so supportive of me during my time at Akiba. Thank you, Jill Cole, for teaching me in kindergarten. Thank you to Mr. Salk for teaching me in 1st and 2nd grade. Thank you, Debbie, for teaching me reading and sparking my love of drawing. Thank you to all of the Benot Sheirut. Thank you to Mora Shanazi for teaching me Hebrew in 2nd grade. Thank you, Miss Levine, for teaching me in 3rd and 4th grade. Thank you, Mora Huva, for teaching me Hebrew in 3rd grade. Thank you, Mrs. Bassa, for teaching me math in 4th grade and music all the way until 5th grade. Thank you, Mr. Milner, for helping teach me in Miss Levine's class. Thank you, Mora Shlomit, for teaching me Hebrew. Thank you to Mr. Essie for teaching me history in 5th grade. Thank you, Mrs. Price, for teaching me in gym class. Thank you, Dr. French, for teaching me language arts in 6th grade. Thank you, Mr. Roden, for teaching me Israel Ed. Thank you, Mr. Marcus, for teaching me math and Mishnah. Thank you, Rabbi M, for teaching me Gemara. Thank you, Mr. Amiel, for teaching me math. Thank you, Mora Dorit, for teaching me Hebrew. Thank you, Miss Chipman, for teaching me humanities. Thank you, Dara, for teaching me art. Thank you, Mrs. Crook, for being a librarian and helping during davening. Thank you for Coach Lee and Coach West for teaching me in PE. Thank you to Mr. Castle for teaching me music. Thank you, Mr. Rothfeld, for teaching me science. Now, that was a lot of thinking, and I think it just goes to show how awesome this school is, that almost half of my speech is thanking. Now, considering that I'm human, I have probably missed some of the other teachers, and for that I will have to say thank you to all of my teachers at Akiva for helping me learn all these 9 years, and I will miss you.